I'm Gab, he's Jules, Blue Skies over West London. Obviously, we're going to be talking Champions League.
Yes.
It's the end of the group stage. I want to say we saw, I think, the most dramatic ending, not in the history of the Champions League, because some of us remember Munich and whatnot, but certainly in the end of the group stage. I don't think there's any comparison.
Yeah.
And I have to say, Jules, I called it.
Did you?
I both in our chats for our Champions League talking points, both on the FC show on Tuesday night, I said, watch this game. The ingredients are there. New coach, Real Madrid, Mourinho, Black Magic Mourinho.
Yeah.
They need all these things to go their way, admittedly. But they weren't all like they were kind of likely things or not impossible things. And all right, just describe what you saw at the end.
It's just, for a long time, it looks like Benfica and Jose Mourinho thought that winning 3-2 was enough to qualify them, not knowing that they needed one more goal because their goal difference was similar to Marseille, was just above them in the table, but Marseille had scored more goals. So when they realized that they needed more goals, there was a bit more urgency. There's a moment where Trubin in goal, there's a cross from, I think, Vini and took the ball on his chest, down, went on the floor with the ball in his arms, like to waste time, basically. Yeah. And you see Rui Costa and I think Nuno Gomes in the stands, I'm like, what are you doing? Attack now. We need more and more goals. And
clearly the message didn't filter all the way back to the larger.
And then when Mourinho realized that, he put Otamendi up front to play as a 9. He could not do any more substitution. And then this final free kick, that was never a free kick because it's not far from Bellingham on Orest. And then great delivery and great header. Remember when Ivan Provedel scored for Lazio?
Yes.
Which was dramatic, but only in, obviously, a group stage, not in this scenario, really. But that for him to win, he never scored a goal in his life.
And the amazing thing is, he took that. It wasn't just like a flagrant bounces off his head. It was a center forward. Victor Gyökeres would be proud.
Very
put it that
proud.
way.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And we have to say, Mourinho in the past, people said, oh, look, he got lucky, blah, blah, blah. And we can say he got lucky with that free kick. And he got lucky. Obviously, you are a little lucky when a goalkeeper scores in 95th minute.
Yeah.
But you can also point to other incidents. The Otamendi penalty was a bit fugazi, but there were at least, there's certainly the Pristiani one, which I saw.
Should have scored too.
And Courtois had to make some incredible saves. This was fully deserved on a football level, which then leads me to ask questions again. I'm not picking on you, Double A, but what is up with Real Madrid? 2 defeats in 4 since he took over.
Yeah.
Clearly, just Xabi Alonso wasn't the only problem at this team. And it felt like in this game, we haven't mentioned your boy Julien yet. He scored 2 goals. It seems to me you have an outstanding goalkeeper and you have an outstanding center forward. And in between, you have, I don't want to say every player's not working out, but you have a lot of chaos in the middle.
Yeah, it's exactly that. I think you summed it really well, Gabi. I never really understood what they were trying to do in this game against a team that hadn't been playing well. This was probably Benfica's best performance one of the best performances since Mourinho took over in September, because they haven't been that good, really. Against Juventus last week, they were okay, but this is not a team that you think, this is going to be very hard to beat them.
No, let's remind people, they lost their first 4 games in the group stage.
As well.
Yeah, and comprehensively. Then they won 2, then they lost to Juventus last week, and that's, like you said, that's when we thought, this is it.
Yeah,
Mourinho's
completely.
out.
And for Real Madrid not to offer much, really, apart from the 2 Kylian goals, the header, and the very good finish on the second one, there was not much else from Vini, from Bellingham, for Arda Güler, from the team that Arbeloa picked up. They got 2 players sent off in added time for stupid reasons. Asensio and Rodrigo, the worst probably for dissent. It's just unbelievable the situation that the club is right now.
Asensio, it was a tackle by the touchline, completely unnecessary.
Needless,
Rodrigo, dissent. And, these things, they're going to be suspended now.
Yeah,
which doesn't help.
Yeah.
Which maybe in Asensio's case, it's an even bigger loss than Rodrigo, simply because they have more alternatives.
Mbappe calling after the game with really strong words in the mix zone, saying this is a disgrace, this is not acceptable, we can't behave like this, you cannot not play again. It's not the first time, he says, which I think was pointing out at Arbeloa too. The way I read it was a bit of a dig at the coach.
Good for Julien. Obviously, he has the political capital to say what I think a lot of Real Madrid fans are thinking right now. And look, I don't want to pick on Arbeloa, but he's not necessarily part of the problem. I'm not sure he's part of the solution, though.
No, either.
And you wonder what the repercussions are going to be this weekend. But we're going to break this down further on the Gab and Jules podcast. But in the meantime, Mourinho, Trubin, wow. All right, Jules, let's go back to the moment. The goal, I think you described it very well. But let's just remind people who Trubin is, because there was a moment. This is a guy who made his debut in the Champions League. I think it was 19 years old. I think it was for Shakhtar Donetsk against Real Madrid, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Was it 3-2? It was a big upset, Shakhtar beating Real Madrid.
And he was amazing.
And he was amazing. He looked amazing. A lot of people said, oh, the next big thing in goalkeeping. We have this occasionally, right? Guys come in, make their debut. And look, he's playing for Benfica. It's not like he's playing for a small club. But he's had his ups and downs. He maybe didn't immediately become, he certainly hasn't become the next Courtois, as some people were suggesting. Yeah. There was a moment at Benfica, too, where he lost his starting spot to Vlaco Dimos, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Still only 24, so there's probably, in terms of maturity, as we know for goalkeeper, it might come a bit later.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not everybody is Courtois. Why do I keep mentioning Courtois? Because he's so fantastic.
Yeah.
But he's Ukrainian as well, which I think adds another massive layer in the current context as well. You're right. That was just so bizarre when he didn't know what was going on. Also, when he takes
the way he took his time, because the cross comes and he chested it down to literally waste more time.
And just before, and I'll get to the incident. Just before that, he goes for a goal kick, or he goes to punt the ball up the field, and Julien gets involved and tries to knock it out of his, knock it away. Yeah.
Yeah, for the clearance, which
okay
leads to the Rodrigo second yellow and sending off.
I don't understand. Okay, occasionally you see that work. Most of the time, it just leads to a booking. Why do people? I mean, I'm assuming he just was doing it to waste time, right?
Or to try, or I think to try and see what the referee would do.
Right.
We've seen them given, but a long time ago, they're not given anymore. Those you can't challenge the goalkeeper when his ball in his hand, even to kick it long like he was.
I think the term is ball under his control, and I think the idea is when the ball is in the air because you're punting it.
Yeah, about to kick it. Yeah,
the ball is in your control because you're putting it there.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Benfica.
And I think so. What I wanted to ask you. So you clearly see on the footage, if you watch the game again, or if you haven't seen and you see the highlights, Mourinho is clearly saying, you could read on his lips, he's saying, pointing clearly to Trubin, go in the box for the... I wonder if Trubin was asking, as sometimes goalkeepers do, shall I go? And sometimes the manager said, no, I would rather you staying. In this case, it was a no-brainer. Obviously, Mourinho was always going to say, go and let's go for it, for the last kick of the game. Or if he was just Mourinho and Trubin was just standing there, not doing anything, and Mourinho said, hey, come on, you go and let's hope for the best, which would be interesting because Trubin could not really even explain at the end, saying like, I don't know what to say, I've never scored, I was there, the ball arrived, I literally jumped, and then that's it. And I'm like, hang on, this is the greatest moment. There's a photo, clear on video, where he's...
Photo's unbelievable. I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, when he goes onto his knees, the knee slide,
and you
then
have everybody else
behind him. Serbs, staff members, starters, with the rain as well, like such an iconic photo.
Whoever took that photograph, bro, you won, Gal, you won the Getty Prize or whatever photography prize there is. I mean, that is an unbelievable. Incredible. I'm not a Benfica fan. I could care less. I want that picture up because this is like the joy of football.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it feels weird, by the way. Like, we've given Mourinho such a hard time over the years. He's done some stupid things. Yeah. He's done some bad things. But it was hard not to feel caught up in this moment.
Absolutely.
Because there's a whole backstory to this, not just the circumstance taking over. Benfica, they're third in the Portuguese league. They're not doing, it's not like you turn.
They're unbeaten, but they're not doing as well as Sporting in Porto. Yeah.
It's to prepare your team for this game, even with Real Madrid with all their foibles. I mean, there is a man management level that he reaches. He's not. I'm not saying he's the only one in the world who can do this. But you go and create so many chances in this game, and to approach it in this way, it's not just down to Real Madrid
No.
being poor.
No.
It's down to we have to give Benfica's players
Absolutely.
and Mourinho a lot of credit here.
I think the expected goals is 3.6 in a Champions League game like this against Real Madrid. It's incredible.
So on the Trubin chance, I was struck by something else. So we agree, should not, David De Massa, the referee,
Yeah.
probably not a foul.
No,
right?
never.
From the angle, I don't know, maybe couldn't see it, whatever. It's one of those things. VAR cannot get involved.
No,
It's
yeah,
just a
that's
free
true.
kick, whatever. I was struck when we were talking about this off air, how unprepared Real Madrid were for that moment. And I realize it's unusual for you to only have 9 men. There's a guy, I don't know if it's Carreras or whoever it is, who goes and makes a one-man wall. Bro, what are you doing? You're completely useless there. And that means that Real Madrid have 7 players in the box at that stage. Benfica
have 10 because Owens is the only one taking the free kick. There's no Trubin, there's
say
no
that, yeah.
defender. This is the last kick of the game, so they're all in the box. There's a +3 advantage.
And the ball comes in, and while we celebrate Trubin's header, as you pointed out, Otamendi's completely unmarked next to him. If Trubin doesn't score, Otamendi scores.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
How does that happen?
And you know the worst about that? For me, it's pure, simple understanding of the game. If you Carreras yourself, you should know by yourself at this level that this is not where you should be. Go and run to the box to help defending and marking, because you being the one man wall is completely pointless. Where the free kick is, how far it is, there's no need for you to be there. Secondly, you're on the side of the benches.
We should point out, players sometimes stand there because you think they're going to play it short or there's going to be a scheme.
Yeah,
but they're
there's
obviously
nobody
not going to do that in the 9th minute of injury time. Yeah.
But you know what I think? I think it's a habit. You always have the habit, and you usually are told, if the free kick is your side and you're the left back or the left winger, you just go and do the wall. This is your job. Before, all the managers on the wall have, if we have set pieces, this is what we do. This is who takes it and who goes where. And defensively, this is who does what and who does. And I think this is, for me, he goes there by pure habit of, okay, yeah, I know this is what I'm being told to do, so I stand here. Not realizing that he's not needed there, but in the box. But worse, maybe, is Arbeloa's bench is right there. This free kick is taken on the side of the bench, hence the crazy celebrations, because the Benfica bench is right there. So is Arbeloa. And Arbeloa or an assistant, whoever, even a junior coach, should see this and say, hang on a minute, what is he doing there? Go into the box and help and block people and pull shot and anything to avoid a goal.
And you could say the same thing, I think, of the Real Madrid players on the bench.
Yeah,
the defensive leaders
Anyone.
as well.
Completely.
Alaba was out there at that point.
Carvajal.
He's seen a lot of football. Carvajal?
Alaba was on the pitch, but Carvajal was on the bench.
Carvajal's on the bench.
Yeah.
Bellingham. Hey, Mr. Leader. Who else?
I know.
Show your leadership as well.
Courtois
too.
The only thing I would say, I think he goes quite quickly between the foul is given and the free kick taken and the goal. But still, it's not acceptable at that level, a mistake like this.
It's also, frankly, not acceptable. Even if he had been there, you still have Otamendi, maybe, other than Pavlidis, who might not have been at the pitch on
No,
I don't even remember.
Replaced by Ivanovic, who's a big boy too, but yeah.
Okay, but you would certainly put Otamendi as one of the biggest threats.
100%.
And you would put the 6'7" goalkeeper as the other big threat.
Yeah, completely.
And you need your big guys to defend.
Yeah, but you lost Asensio. Not that Asensio is the biggest or the best in the air. That's one of your centre backs going. The other one is Huysen, who's not very good on defensive set pieces anyway.
And who can't cover 5 people at once. No, but you have other. I mean, Bellingham's a big boy.
Yeah.
Chouameni's a big boy.
Chouameni was not on the pitch.
Okay,
but that's what I mean. You stand if you look.
There. Yeah, no, but you still put a body on them.
Yeah.
You still make it.
Like I said,
easier
you block.
for
You do something. I don't know. You prevent them from. As great as the header is from Trubin, and again, he's a goalkeeper who never scored it. It was far too easy for him to be in that position. But again, the delivery is amazing too. All of that, we take nothing away from that goal. Just to say, in terms of pure defensive setup from Real Madrid, it was embarrassing.
And you have to also, I think, read the moment of the game.
Completely.
It's highly unlikely anybody's going to call a penalty. Even if you do, I mean, I have a piece on set pieces and holding on penalties. There's a reason referees don't call that in the chaos. You can get away with stuff.
And at that time, Real Madrid are in the top 8. They are 8th. And that goal not just qualified Benfica, but make them dropped out of the last 8. That means 2 playoff games that they will have to play. And you just don't know what can happen. And they could play Benfica again.
I was wondering what a set piece coach. I went like the guy Jover at Arsenal or somebody else. Like when they watch the defensive setup, he was probably busy with something
I'll
else.
ask him. I'll ask him
But
when I see
like,
him next.
I
And tell
like
you.
what? Like maybe we're wrong. We're not set piece defensive, set piece,
No,
but
man,
I'm
we
pretty
can't
sure
be.
we're right because we
Yeah.
watched enough football. We've spoken to enough people.
100%.
All right, we have to talk about Real Madrid, as you mentioned. They drop out of the top 8. You know, everything can be. You can look at this and say, and some people do. Everything can be salvaged, right? We're 1 point behind in La Liga.
Yeah.
We're okay, so we got to go through the round of 16. But guess what? Right? No, sorry, the playoffs even.
Yeah, which they did, which
Paris Saint-Germain did last year, and they won. He's like, "Hey, Jules, hey, Gab, how about you take a chill pill and calm the F down, right?"
Yeah, sure.
But we're not going to because this team plays badly.
Yeah.
And this team does not look in control.
No.
And that is the reason. I'm not expecting Real Madrid with Arbeloa coming in to go and play sparkling football, to play massive patterns of play. But I am expecting to see happy, committed, engaged players who understand this whole thing about what it takes to win. What it takes to win is not you getting sent off, Rodrigo.
No, yeah.
Right? What it takes to win is not you making that stupid tackle, Asensio. Right? What it takes to win, the other leaders on the team. I mean, the penalty Tchouaméni gave up. Not Otamendi definitely played for it. And he's smart and maybe shouldn't have been given.
But there was almost one
But don't
given
put
to
yourself in that
Cristiani
situation.
in the first half for similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar. It's clumsiness.
You expect these guys to step up, and you expect Arbeloa to create an environment where these are all. I mean, when I ask myself, who's new to this team? Who's new to this culture? Right? Heisen. Not many others. Carreras, if you want.
Yeah.
But Carreras was previously at Benfica before he was Manchester United. He's a big club guy.
Yeah.
Right? So that, I think, is the single biggest indictment. This is why you have to have a response. We haven't even mentioned Vinicius. I don't know where he fits in all this,
I know.
if at all.
Yeah.
But this was definitely a stand-up and be counted game. This was a game where after your win at the weekend, you come back and you build on it. And you say, okay, with Arbeloa, we're going to play a certain way. Arbeloa, Mourinho's, adopted son, whatever.
Absolutely, yeah.
Fine, then give me Mourinho football. This was a Mourinho football.
This was nothing, Gab. Again, they had 67% of the ball, I think. And yes, there's the 2 goals that Kylian took well. The second
Kylian's
one
wide
especially.
open, by the way.
Yeah, the header and the second one, but it's to the millimeter. Okay, they've got a couple of other chances that maybe they should have scored, but this is not enough. And this whole, I'm setting them free. Look at this from Arbeloa. This is what you have to do with those players, right? No Xabi Alonso, but look at me. We've said it before. It didn't work with Carlo last season. It's not going to work with Arbeloa, who's nowhere near as good as Carlo Ancelotti anyway. It's just like, do what you want, do your thing. No, don't do your thing in the Champions League. It might be okay in some of La Liga games. Let's see, by the way, Rayo Vallecano at the weekend, because I know it's at the Bernabeu, and I know Rayo are not as good as they were last season, for example.
The white hankies are being prepared.
Yeah, and Mbappe, I think, was very quick last night after the defeat to say, we need people to support us at the weekend. If you come to the stadium, because I think they know already it's not good, it might not be pretty. This is where they are. What do we expect from this team?
Yeah.
If they play like this in Europe, they might make it to the last 16. Yeah, okay, go through the playoffs, maybe. But then after that, the level would be too hard, like it was against Arsenal last season in the quarterfinals.
I have a final point to make. We're both part of the Champions League Talking Points group, which pieces up on ESPN.
Yeah, on the website, great piece.
We all weigh in. There's several of our grumpier colleagues
from the north.
Well,
no,
one's from London and very tall, who don't like this Champions League format.
No,
blah, blah, blah.
Come on.
I want to say this about it.
Behave.
Wherever you feel about it, those of us who are old, like me, will remember the old European Cup. And you still get some people. It's like, straight. Why don't you just make it a straight knockout competition? Blah blah blah. Weirdly, in some way, if you want to be cynical and take a step back, UEFA is saying, look, we've made this big old group stage so we can generate a ton of money, have big games, whet the appetite, keep the clubs happy. And now, with the playoffs, we essentially have the old European Cup.
Yeah.
Right?
pretty
It
much.
is, you had 32 teams in it. Okay, here you have 24 because you have the intermediate round, so you still have that round, right? And then it's a straight knockout. So you can kind of keep both the old timers
Yeah, that's true.
and the
a
new
good point.
timers happy,
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
I think what we need to tell Mark Ogden and James Alling that, oh no, actually the Champions League starts in January.
Yes.